Today, we are going to clarify if you are really taking inspired action towards your manifestation, or are you simply just persisting in lack and taking action out of lack and calling it manifesting. We're going to really clear up the difference between those two things today so that you know fully what inspired action is, and spoiler alert, you don't even really need to worry about it. If you're thinking a lot about inspired action, I can already guarantee you're not in the right space. It shouldn't even be something that you're really thinking about. But we're going to clear that up and more, I hope, in this video. But before we get into it, I will introduce myself for any of you who maybe don't know me yet. My name is Genevieve and I'm a manifestation coach. On this channel, we go in depth into some of the issues around manifestation that sometimes people feel aren't answered enough or that they still have questions about. I try to really explain things as deeply as I can so that everything makes sense to you in terms of what we're doing here. I'm mostly a law of assumption type of teacher, but I also incorporate lots of different sciences and somatic things that I know are going to support you in actually maintaining a shift in your state, a shift in your belief, so that you can actually get the thing or the things that you are manifesting. If you're watching this video before November 22nd, 2023, I am doing a early Black Friday sale. And I think the day that I'm posting this, there's maybe only like 1 or 2 days left of this sale. So if it's before November 22nd, you can still benefit from the sale. It's 40% off all of the courses and 20% off one-on-one coaching with me. I've never done a sale quite that big before, and I don't know if and when I'll ever do one like this again. So links below to get the courses, get coaching with me if you want to do that. Now is your time to do that if you've been waiting. And you have to apply the code LOVECREATES at checkout to get the discount. So make sure that you apply that code LOVECREATES in either the course checkout or in the checkout for the coaching schedule. Okay, let's get into this. So what is inspired action when you are manifesting? Inspired action is an action that you take that you typically in the moment don't even realize is a part of the bridge to getting your physical manifestation. So an example of this could be you just decide, hey, I really want to go to the mall today. And you don't even know why, but you just like have this really powerful urge to go to the mall today. You go to the mall, you take that inspired action, and whoa, there is your specific person there. You bump into them, or if you're manifesting something else, it's like, whoa, there is that thing that you had been manifesting, or something happens there at the mall that was what you needed to be led to help you along the bridge to get you to your manifestation. So I use that example because it typically is something that you don't even realize again until after the fact that it was even a part of the bridge. It's not forced action. And I say forced action because a lot of you think things like this. You think inspired action is, oh, I feel really, really good today. I feel like I'm really in the wish fulfilled today. I've never felt more sure that, me and my SP are totally together. So because I feel so good, I'm gonna reach out to them. I'm gonna text them and just see what's going on because I feel so good about this. So that often backfires. And I don't mean to laugh because I know that it can trigger like terrible reactions in people, but I've seen it so many times that like you'll be feeling really, really good. Like you really are gaining momentum in the wish fulfilled, but you start pushing on the 3D before the 3D has matched you where you're at. You start going into the 3D too soon and being like, oh, yep, now it's my time. I've just decided. And so I'm going to text them. And more often than not, that backfires. The person does not respond the way that you thought they would, or maybe they don't even respond at all, or you find out you're still blocked or whatever it is. And then you completely crumble and you lose all faith and all hope because you're like, oh my God, I thought I was in the wish fulfilled. I was feeling so good. Why did this happen in the way that it did? Because you weren't really in non-resistance to the 3D. This is why we talk about non-resistance in the 3D. Why it's so important is you have to let the 3D come to you. Like if you are really confident in the wish fulfilled, you know you don't need to push for it. You know that your manifestation is not going to miss you. You don't have to go out there and go get it just because you're feeling super good. A lot of that's coming from, again, too much pushing. It's resistance to the 3D. You're not meeting the 3D where it's at. You're not trusting the 3D to come to you and meet you where you are. If you simply just confidently stay within yourself and persist within yourself, that is the true state. And also, I just want to clear something up. If you feel really, really good and you are really like, I feel great, I feel elated, I feel so joyful, I feel in the wish fulfilled, that's great. And that is, like I said, it's good. You're gaining some momentum, but that doesn't necessarily instantly translate into your SP is conformed right in that moment. Let me just explain this deeper so that you really get what I'm saying, because a lot of you, what I'm really trying to say is a lot of you are confusing your good mood with, oh, the manifestation is fully baked. And remember, this is why I'm a law of assumption person, because a lot of you come from like law of attraction world where it's all about, oh, if you feel good, good things are going to happen to you. Oh, and if you feel bad, bad things are going to happen to you. When that has not been my experience at all. What has been my experience is simply that what I believe eventually is revealed to me, and what I don't believe, I typically don't see. And it's not really about my mood. It's not about like, oh, I feel really good about this today. I mean, sometimes, but sometimes not. And so that's why I'm discrediting that. So a lot of you are confusing, oh, I feel really good today. I feel really positive about this. I feel really confident. So therefore, this is a great time to push on the 3D and like try to get my manifestation. Like there's a weird thing happening within you that's simply, again, just resistance to where the 3D is at, that you're confusing as, oh, I'm in a good mood, so therefore it's going to come to me. I hope this is making sense. Really, you just need to stay within yourself and trust that it is coming to you. It's, again, great that you're in a good mood. It's great that you're feeling really positive about this. It's great that you know this is happening. Keep yourself cooking in that and know that the 3D is going to meet you there. Because if you keep thinking that you need to take action or that you should take action or whatever, whenever you're in a good mood, or else your manifestation is going to pass you by, then it's like, I'm kind of not surprised this hasn't worked for you so far, because you're not actually manifesting. You're not actually trusting that it's going to come to you. You are still pushing too much. You're still in resistance to the 3D, and I want you to not do that. But here's another version of inspired action, because I know that for a lot of you, you are manifesting winning the lottery. And you know what they say, you can't necessarily win the lottery if you don't buy a ticket every once in a while. So in the case of something like that, where it would be really normal, and not just normal, but like very much expected that like if you want to be a doctor, you're going to apply to medical school. If you want to win the lottery, you're going to eventually buy a lottery ticket. You're going to take the natural action that would already assume that that end is yours. And when it comes to those physical things like attaining a certification or attaining a lottery win or whatever, like, yeah, that's normal to take inspired action, to go through the motions of that. But when it comes to those things, because this is also what can happen, people think that they're gonna, like, they have to win on that first buy, like they're gonna buy the lottery ticket once. Although, as I say that, please do not become a gambling addict, because I do not encourage that either. Please do not be buying hundreds and hundreds of lottery tickets all the time. That would be a great example of, again, resistance to the 3D. If you are addictively and in a dependency kind of way, engaging with the 3D, like, I have to have this, this must be mine, and I won't be okay without it. Like, if you watch me, you know that I'm very sensitive to if you are engaging with your manifestation, if it's a person, place, or thing in that kind of a desperate sort of like anxious way where you feel like you're just not going to be okay without it. You're almost addicted to this person. You're addicted to this idea of this thing. That's not healthy, and I really want you to just dial it back a little bit, because it's not going to it's not that you can't manifest it. It's just that it's not going to manifest well. You're not actually going to achieve it if you are interacting with that person, place, or thing from that level of consciousness. It's not going to change. It's not going to actually manifest well. So that's why if you really are like super anxiously attached, you got to dial it back a little bit. So that's before, get back into just your self-concept foundation, take that thing off the pedestal, and then interact with it again from a different level of consciousness. So that's just my disclaimer about that, because I really do not at all encourage anyone to be buying hundreds and hundreds of lottery tickets or anything. So, because that would also not be inspired action. It's more, think of inspired action just like a healthy, natural action that you might take, because you only need one ticket. So just trust that you only need to buy that one ticket and it'll happen for you. But I digress. The bottom line here is that true inspired action feels extremely natural. It's usually not something you even need to think very much about at all. And that's why I said at the beginning of this video that it's just something that you do. And like I said in the example in the beginning of the video, it's often something that you don't even realize you're doing as a part of the bridge. You don't realize that you're taking an action that's going to lead you to the thing that you are manifesting. It's more often than not that, and not you thinking, oh, I feel good today, maybe my SP wants to talk to me. More often than not, that is not inspired action. But here is the other caveat that I hope does not confuse you, because I'm actually not the kind of coach that ever wants you to make rules. Because when you make rules like, oh, I will never contact my SP, they must contact me first, that tends to also be coming from lack. That tends to also be coming from your fear or your avoidance, or just fear that you're so afraid that you're not going to get it. You're so afraid of messing this up that you make this very hard and fast guarded rule that's like, I will not reach out to them. I will never reach out to them. They must reach out to me. And that's often not coming from the wish fulfilled that you would be thinking that way. Remember, the way, especially when it comes to a person, the way we manifest that person is we start to feel like a total ease towards them. We feel a sense of security. We feel like they're not so much on the pedestal anymore. It wouldn't be that big of a deal if you sent them a text. Like, it's no longer this big, like, oh my God, what would happen if I texted them? Oh my God. Like, that's not such a big deal anymore. You know that you're doing well when you start to see them as just a person that you have a desire for and that you're choosing your new dynamic with. So I say that as a slight disclaimer just because I don't want you to get so stuck in your own fear about this that you make rules that are like the opposite of inspired action. Like, I can never do that. That would be so bad. Because that's also a block. That's also resistance. So I'm not the kind of coach that says, yeah, never text your SP, never whatever. Because especially when I talk to a lot of you in coaching, it's very different on a person-to-person basis. Like, how should you be interacting in your SP situation in this moment? Like, a lot of you need different coaching based on where you're at. So really don't make this more complicated than it needs to be by creating extra rules about, oh, if you're no contact, never contact them, and they gotta, like, just trust like the general message I'm saying here that, yeah, you don't need to reach out to them. You are going to be led to them. They're going to be led to you, or whatever it is. Like, you do not need to reach out to them. But watch yourself in terms of, are you putting yourself into like some strict fear-based rule box where it's like, it has to happen this way, and if it doesn't, then I'm just gonna blah, blah, like, I don't even know. But you just don't do that. Be totally open to the unfolding. And because it often does happen in extremely surprising ways that you never would have guessed that it would have happened that way. So I hope this video made sense to you. Really inspired action is you just trusting the natural instinct you get to do something. But often for a lot of you, that natural instinct, if you're in that just total like, oh, I'm so in love with them, you might think that your natural instinct is like, yeah, I want to text them. I'm in love with them. Like, so it's my natural instinct to want to text them every day. When you're in that state, do not trust that desire to reach out to them first, because that is not going to be inspired action for you, especially when it comes to SPs. That's kind of like, put that in the SP box. But for everything else that you're manifesting, don't put any rules around it. Just trust like the natural flow of where you are led. Know that you really, like Neville Goddard said, you do not have to lift a finger. This shouldn't be hard. If you ever find yourself overthinking, should I do this or should I do that? Should I message them or should I not? Should I do this thing or should I go this place? If you're overthinking an action, you can guarantee that's not inspired action. You can guarantee that you are stuck in your head, overthinking, worrying, thinking from not having it, not thinking from that you already have it, guaranteed. You're thinking from not having it. So obviously that's not inspired action. Inspired action is very simple. You often just do it naturally. You often just do it without even realizing that it's a part of your manifestation in terms of part of your bridge. And it's not something you overthink. You're just sort of in that state. If you're really in that state of the wish fulfilled, it just sort of comes to you naturally. You're not overthinking it. I guess I'll say last thing, an example of inspired action of someone who could be texting their SP as inspired action is if you are texting from this place of like truly no fucks to give. Like if you just have something like you like need to say to them for a practical reason, or you, yeah, it's just more like you're just truly being super kind. Although again, like take this with a grain of salt, because a lot of you can misconstrue this advice to be like, oh yeah, I want to text them right now because I feel like I want to say, hi, I hope you're having a good day. No, I don't mean that. I mean, there's some sort of reason you really do have to text them. And this is the important part, it's coming from a place in you that truly doesn't care if they respond. You know you're not taking inspired action if you feel too much dependency on how they respond. If you feel like you would be devastated if they didn't respond the way you want, or if you feel like you wouldn't be able to handle it if they ignored you, you know that your desire to reach out to them is not inspired if you can't handle their reaction. But if you really are like, yeah, whatever they say, they could ignore me, I really don't care, and you are genuine about it. A lot of you are lying to yourselves, thinking that you're like, yeah, I don't care. You do care. Like, do not lie to yourself. The more that you can be extremely self-honest in this and really put yourself first and know like, yeah, I'm not going to put myself in a place to sabotage my manifestation by texting this person. Like, why would I do that right now? I know that that wouldn't go well if they didn't respond the way that I wanted them to. So I'm not going to put myself in that position where I crumble and therefore my faith and my manifestation crumbles. We're not doing that. That's truly being self-honest will help you to put yourself first in a true way. So do not delude yourself that, oh yeah, I would be totally okay if they just ghosted me and blocked me. No, you wouldn't. Most of you would not be okay. But occasionally people who have really done the work and they really are in that state of such like healthy detachment that they're just like, yep, I just got to say this to them and I really don't care how they respond. That's a very different state than simply lying to yourself to try to like, you know, boost yourself up to send them a message or whatever. So don't do that. But anyway, I hope this makes sense. Let me know your thoughts and questions in the comments below, and let me know any other requests you have for future videos. So I will talk to you guys in my next video. All right, bye.